today's video, we're going to be talking about 5 things every Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu white belt needs to know before they become a blue belt. This list is entirely made up and based off nothing other than my opinion. However, I think we'll have some fun. So, number 1, you have to know how to protect yourself. What I mean by this: break falls, knowing when to tap, and strategic awareness. So, break falls are one of the lamest things you do in grappling arts, but in my opinion, it's the most important. The reason why is it's the only technique I've ever used outside of the classroom situation, when I've taken dumps off skateboards, when I've slipped on ice, when I've fallen down in general. Having a good break fall is super important. On top of that, if you're able, doing the technique and then also being relaxed are the two things that go into having a good break fall. If you smack the mat really hard but you're super tense, it's not going to be as effective as if you smack the mat but you're able to relax in every single part except for the one you're forcing contact with on the mat. Then knowing when to tap is another thing that's super important. When you're a white belt, you don't necessarily know when you're in danger, when you're not in danger, but you need to know when your joints are starting to get extended, whether it's kimuras, whether it's Americanas, whether it's straight arm bars, whether it's leg locks, whether it's triangle chokes. You need to know how much air you've got in your system. You need to know if you can breathe, if you're going to go to sleep, if it's something you're able to fight out of, if it's something you shouldn't fight out of. Err on the side of caution and longevity, but you definitely need to know how to protect yourself. Otherwise, you're never going to be able to progress and continue to train. So having that awareness and knowing when you're in danger and knowing when to tap is almost as important as the techniques such as break falls, because if you're practicing takedowns at all and you don't know how to break fall, you're really setting yourself up for failure. However, if you have a really good break fall or you want to develop it, when you're doing any form of takedown in the class, smack the mat, practice your break fall. It's always an opportunity to practice. So that was the first thing. It's knowing how to protect yourself. The second thing every white belt needs to know before they get their blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is overall terminology and positional awareness. You're going to have to understand what the names of the positions are. You don't have to know every single minor little position, but you need to know the major ones such as guard, side control, mount, back mount. In my opinion, some of the leg lock positions, very important, especially nowadays in Jiu-Jitsu. You also need to know the transitions between those positions. You need to know, not for every single position, but for the most part, how generally would you get from close guard to mount to back mount? How would you get from side control to mount? What are better positions? What are worse positions? How to escape from bad positions to get to better positions? What to do getting back to guard? What to do once you're in guard? General, you don't need to know everything, but you need to know one thing from every common position you find yourself in. That's super important because then you can build upon that. Another thing that having basic positional awareness is going to enable you to do is going to allow your coach to coach you better. If they're on the sidelines of a tournament and they're yelling out a specific move or sequence or a position and you're not aware of the terminology or how to transition, it's going to be no help if they're yelling for you to go to this position, and in your mind you're like, I don't know what that is. So having that awareness of the positional names is going to be very helpful for your coachability and for your learning. So by the time you're a blue belt, know the positions, know the terminology. It'll help you progress. Let's get into the fun stuff with number 3. You need to know submissions. In my opinion, you need 2 kinds of submissions as a blue belt. One is the old reliable submission. You need a submission that no matter who you get in this position, you feel confident that you're going to be able to get that. For me, my first old reliable submission was the armbar from mount. It was very simple. It was very clear. When the arm is extended and I bring my legs over and hip in, they're going to tap. From there, you're able to build upon your game. If you don't have anywhere that you feel safe and you feel confident going to, you're sort of aimless. But if you have the aim of going to your one position, that's your old reliable submission, you're going to learn the transitions, you're going to feel a little bit more confident grappling because you'll have a goal, you'll have something to work towards. Now, it doesn't really matter what position or submission this is, it's unique to you, but if you have the old reliable submission, that's a great place to start building your game from. You don't need to know everything, but you do need to be good at just a couple things in order to have a lot more fun on the mats. The other thing, now you blue belt, you have to use this on a white belt who doesn't know. It is written down nowhere other than in my notebook, but you should do it anyways. It has to be a sneaky submission. Why do I say a sneaky submission? Because a whole part of the jiu-jitsu game is going to be trickery, is going to be involving strategically redirecting your opponent's attention. So a good one would be the baseball bat choke. This was a common one that I fell victim to when I was a white belt. And then when I was a blue belt, I made other white belts fall victim to it. It's amazing. It's super fun. All you do is you get a grip across their collar. You get one over top, and you let them pass your guard as you loop over, squeeze and get the tap. It's a lot of fun. So knowing how to do a sneaky submission, I mean, it's fun, yes, but also that'll set the foundation for the other aspect of the game. You can force people with all reliable or any move. You can get them in a position where you can say, I'm going to get you with this move and there's nothing you can do to stop me, and still get it. That's nice, but also being able to trick people is going to help you out because it's fun, and that's another side of the game which you have to learn in order to compete at the highest levels, if that's what you want to do. Also, everybody loves choking out unsuspecting white belts. It doesn't matter who you are, it's a good time. Number 4, every white belt needs to know how to drill effectively and efficiently before they become a blue belt. This means knowing the context surrounding the moves. You're not just sitting there like a dead fish waiting for your partner to do the move. You're acting as if someone would be in a live match. Now, you're always losing if the partner is doing the move to you to help them learn, but you want to give realistic reactions. You want to drill not too fast, not too slow, at the right pace for learning. You're going to have to figure this out, but there are general principles for drilling that will make you better. If you want to know more about that, I have some videos. I'll link them somewhere if I remember. But you need to know how to drill efficiently for you. Don't be a spaz. Learn. That's what we're here to do. We're here to learn. Don't go fast. Go slow. Don't get lost in the sauce of trying to put your hands here and this, that. Yes, try to do it correctly, but focus on the principles of why the move is working. If you're compromising their balance, their posture, their structure, that's more important than learning if your grip goes here or here or here, because technically you can kind of make it work. But if you're not doing the principles correctly, the whole move is going to crumble. So know how to drill correctly and practice that. Coming in at number 5, for those of you who stuck it to the end, if you made it to this video, you better make it to purple belt if you're now a blue belt. Don't drop out. But the number 5 thing you have to learn if you're a white belt going to be a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is how to lose. You have to learn how to do that emotionally, and you have to learn how to do that physically. What I mean by that is there are going to be times physically where you could continue to fight out of a position. However, in the long term, it's not going to be worth it because you might have a slightly sore neck. Like, yeah, you technically survived that white belt's choke, but it wasn't worth it because it took some time off your training and you feel a little bit beat up. So you have to physically know when it's not worth it and when you just tap. But in order to do that, you have to emotionally be ready to lose. And I know you have your blue belt, and I know it's colored, and I know you don't want to tap to white belts. Everybody taps to white belts. Sorry. Especially if you're a blue belt, you're going to lose. You're going to lose to blue belts, you're going to lose to white belts, you're going to lose to purple belts, you're going to lose to every kind of belt. Emotionally, be okay with that. Know how to lose, accept that you're going to lose, and take it one step further, invest in that losing. Lose as many times as you can while learning something each time, so you lose in a slightly different way. Then your game is going to blossom. You're going to have so much to build from later on. If you have a submission that you can reliably hit on people, a sneaky one, you know the positions, you know the terminology, and you're okay with losing, you're going to make it to purple belt. Being okay with losing and having these other things to build off of are what allow you to continue to see progress as a blue belt. And not getting caught up with winning or just being there, having fun, and progressing is going to be what keeps you in the long term healthy and in the gym and having a good time. So those are the 5 things every white belt needs to know before they become a blue belt, hopefully on their way to purple. If you like the video, support the channel, likes, comments, subscribes, helps a ton. Thank you. Peace.